I would try to do if I had a million years to live. In this video, I want to talk about how Gary Gensler might not be all that bad for the cryptocurrency industry. So, when Gary Gensler first joined the SEC, everyone in the crypto industry thought it was a hugely bullish sign. Before Gary Gensler joined the SEC, he talked about blockchain technology in a very positive way. He said he would be the one to bring regulations to the industry, but in a way that would let the industry grow. Since Gary Gensler took over, he has almost stopped talking about blockchain technology at all. Now, he is calling the whole industry a scam and is cracking down by regulating and enforcing the rules. Well, I want to show you why that might be the case in this video. And I'd like to try to show you something you've probably never seen before. I think this will be incredibly interesting. I also want to talk about something else pretty interesting near the end of the video. And that's why, from a different point of view, this whole SEC case against Ripple could look like a big smokescreen. And the other way I want to look at this case is from the point of view of the US Federal Reserve. The more I learn about Ripple, the more I am shocked by how close it is to the Federal Reserve. Make sure you watch the whole video so you can see that I want to show you something very interesting. That will make this whole case with the SEC look like a joke. As always, your support means a lot to this channel. Please take a second to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It will help me a lot. Also, if you ever need a good place to buy XRP or the Flare token, check out the link in the description of this video for my favorite exchange. Now, though, let's get right down to it. And I hope you like what's inside. So, I'll start by showing you a few videos of Gary Gensler. Don't worry, though, these aren't new. These are from a long time ago, and they are a lot easier to listen to and easier to deal with. But I want to tell you, in case you weren't there or don't remember, why everyone thought Gary Gensler would be good for the cryptocurrency industry. Now, I know that sounds crazy to you right now. But I think that after you watch some of these clips, you'll be like, what the heck happened here? Then I'd like to explain what I think might be going on. Now, a lot of different things could be going on. And neither do I or anyone else know for sure. But this is an interesting point of view that I don't see a lot of people talking about. So I think it will be very interesting for you. Let's start by looking at the videos. So, how sure are you that we could have rules without stopping people from coming up with new ideas? Because it's so new and in its early stages, I think many people involved in Bitcoin and blockchain would say, don't hold us back. I would tell them that they need some kind of rules, like traffic lights and speed limits, so that people feel safe driving on the roads, in this case the crypto roads. So, I think the two can live together, but it will take a few years to figure out the right balance. I think it's a good thing all around. So much in our economy and in our own lives goes up and down. So it might put a damper on the ICO market, which has been very hot. I think it's good for blockchain, though. Right now, we have large institutions that want to change and adapt significantly, as well as asset managers who want to invest in this space and large exchange companies that want to move into the space of unregulated exchanges. I'm guessing that, right now, the unregulated exchanges around the world make more money overall than the regulated spaces in the securities field as a whole. And there are more than 1,000 horses running around in the field that got out of the barn. We need to get them back in line. Even for Ripple and Ether, or maybe it's iOS or Neo or something, there needs to be clarity in the market for the big ones. And if it's clear on the market that they're not securities, they might still be commodities and need to follow all the same rules. Those are just a couple of clips I found in a short amount of time. There are a lot more where he sounds just as optimistic about the cryptocurrency market, which is why a lot of people, including myself, were surprised when Gary Gensler first started working at the SEC. In fact, we were very hopeful. He said a lot of good things, like how cryptocurrencies have a lot going for them and how blockchain technology will be useful in the future. We need rules for the market, though. This is something everyone agrees on. Obviously, we need rules, and this market needs rules. The problem with the SEC is that they try to regulate the market with more rules. That doesn't work, and they aren't willing to change anything. But Gary Gensler wasn't saying that just a few years ago. In that last clip, he says very clearly that we need clarity and rules for these cryptocurrency companies, which don't exist yet. So, what's going on at the moment? And why won't he give us those rules? Well, one thing that doesn't come up very often is that the SEC isn't really the government agency that should be making those rules. They are only supposed to enforce the rules that Congress makes. And it's clear that Congress hasn't made any rules about cryptocurrencies. Since there are no rules, the SEC doesn't even have the power to make rules or enforce them. So Gary Gensler was just asked to enforce the rules of securities law, and it's hard to tell what is and isn't a security. Now, it's clear that Gary Gensler is making use of this. He wants to make as much money as possible and stop people from coming up with new ideas. I agree with you 100%. But by doing this, and it almost doesn't matter if this is done on purpose or not, it makes things worse. Gary Gensler is making Congress pass rules about cryptocurrencies. He is forcing cryptocurrency companies to move to countries where they shouldn't be, and he is putting regular people in situations where they shouldn't be. These people then complain to their constituents that investors aren't protected. So, right now, Gary Gensler is making a huge problem in the United States with cryptocurrencies, and Congress needs to step up and pass regulations. You could say that this is all a mistake. He didn't mean to do this, it's just because he didn't follow the rules. But that is what is going on. And the truth is that he was kind of saying that we need new rules a few years ago. Now, that's what's going on. And the truth is that it is happening. We just did an interview with Patrick McHenry a few days ago, and I showed this in another video. Check out the video from yesterday if you want to see that. In this interview, though, he says that we are regulating cryptocurrencies because Chair Gensler isn't doing his job. Now you can say that Chair Gensler isn't doing his job. He is really bad at his job. He is against new ideas. He has no right to sue these businesses. He shouldn't use enforcement by regulation. But he can't tell the cryptocurrency industry how to work. And I'm glad he isn't, because I think that would be even worse. So what he is doing is making Congress act faster than they would have on their own. Patrick McHenry says right here in this interview that we will have regulation or at least a bill for cryptocurrencies in the next 2 months. So, what we're seeing right now is that Gary Gensler, who was clearly bullish on blockchain technology a few years ago and who was very clear that this market needs clarity, is now forcing Congress to pass regulations for cryptocurrencies. Some of you might think that's because they don't want him to destroy this market. But there is a part of me that really does think this was part of his plan to force Congress to pass regulations they would never have done otherwise. He is forcing their hand on this issue. And you might think that's just a random thing. But when I watch some of these old clips, I can't help but think that maybe this was all planned from the start. So, since I've already made a lot of guesses in this video, I thought I'd end it with a few more. This is about Palau, the Federal Reserve, and the ripple effect. For those of you who don't know, Palau just launched their first CBDC on the XRP ledger. But the most interesting thing about this is that Palau is very close to the US government, and almost no one is talking about it. I tweeted earlier today, Palau does what the US says. There is no doubt in my mind that the Fed approved the CBDC built on the XRP ledger. The lawsuit is a smokescreen. The Federal Reserve is working with Ripple to build central bank digital currency infrastructure. This is all part of a bigger plan. And what you're looking at right now is a statement from the US government, which says that the US and Palau have diplomatic ties, strong ties, and work well together. Under the CFO, Palau and the US agree that the US has full control and responsibility over defense and security issues. In relating to Palau, the currency of a country is one of the most important things about it. Having a stable currency is one of the most important things for a country's national security. In Palau, the US is protecting exactly what it has. What do we know about it? Well, we all know that the US dollar is used in Palau. So, not only will the US protect Palau's national currency, but the country also uses the US dollar, which has to be printed by the Federal Reserve. This means that the Federal Reserve is 100%. I think that the fact that the green-lighted Palau CBDC was built on the XRP ledger shows that everything the SEC is doing right now is meaningless. How could XRP be a security if the Federal Reserve looks at it as a national currency for a sovereign country? Of course, it's not. This whole SEC case about Ripple is just faster regulation. It's a way to give XRP the reputation it needs to work in this market. And for it to be used in a controlled way so that it can be used as its creators intended. All of this is going on while Ripple works with the Federal Reserve on their task force for faster payments. And the more you look at things like this, the more ridiculous the Ripple SEC case seems. If the Federal Reserve really did give Palau permission to build a CBDC on the XRP ledger, which it looks like is happening, then the SEC would never in a million years be able to try to kill Ripple by calling XRP a security. Anyway, guys, I hope this update was fun for you. If you did, be sure to like the video and sign up for more. It means a lot, and right now, they leave.